The video tells the inspiring story of Emily, a young girl from the small, impoverished town of Oak Ridge who dares to dream of becoming a doctor. Emily's life began in humble circumstances. Her family struggled daily to put food on the table, living in a small wooden house with worn floors and a leaking roof. But for Emily, the greatest poverty was not material, it was the lack of hope she saw when sickness came. That changed when her younger brother fell gravely ill. A doctor came from the city, traveling hours to reach their remote town. He worked through the night, saving her brother's life, and asked for nothing in return. Emily watched him pack his bag at dawn, and in that moment, she knew what she wanted to become. Her father tried to temper her enthusiasm. "Medicine is for rich people's children," he told her gently. But Emily was stubborn. She would study. She would find a way. The walk to school was 5 miles each way along quiet country roads. Emily made this journey in worn-out sneakers, her only good pair of shoes saved for special occasions. Her school bag was old, her books few and worn. But she was always first to arrive and last to leave. Her teacher, Mrs. Carter, noticed this quiet girl with determined eyes. She began staying after class to give Emily extra lessons, lending her books and providing pencils and paper. She told Emily, "Your circumstances do not define your future. Your choices do." Emily's family rallied behind her. Her mother, a house cleaner, saved the best portions of their simple meals for Emily. Her father, despite his doubts, began telling stories of her intelligence to anyone who would listen. Emily helped with chores in the evening, then stayed up late studying by the faint light of a desk lamp. Then a new student arrived. Her name was Sophia, and she came from a family that had lost everything in a house fire in Chicago. Sophia was quiet and withdrawn. Emily recognized the look in her eyes. She approached Sophia during lunch and offered half her small meal. They became inseparable. Sophia shared her knowledge and the few books she had left. Emily shared her resilience and her belief that their situation was not their final destination. When a statewide science competition was announced, Mrs. Carter immediately thought of Emily. The theme was solving community problems. Emily thought about the children who frequently fell sick from drinking contaminated well water. She designed a simple water filtration system using locally available materials: charcoal, sand, gravel, and cloth. Sophia helped her refine the presentation. On competition day, Emily traveled to Dallas for the first time. When her name was called as the winner, she could not speak for a full minute. The prize was a scholarship to a better school in a nearby town. The new school was intimidating. Harder classes, wealthier students, a relentless pace. Emily worked twice as hard as anyone else. She woke before dawn, stayed after class for extra help, and often fell asleep over her books. But she persevered. By year's end, she had the highest grades. Another scholarship opportunity arose, this time for a prestigious secondary program. Sophia helped with the application. But even with the scholarship, there were expenses: books, uniforms, transportation. Emily's family had nothing left to give. It was her older sister, Grace, who made the sacrifice. Grace found work at a small grocery store and used her earnings to support Emily's education. Emily protested, but Grace was firm. "You carry all of us with you. When you succeed, we all succeed." Emily threw herself into her studies. When the exam results came, she had placed among the top students in the entire state. High school brought new challenges. Emily's clothes were old and patched, and she stood out among students in neat uniforms. For a while, the old shame crept back. But she soon found friends who looked past her appearance, a small group of girls who admired her intelligence and quiet strength. They formed a study group, pushing each other to excel. Emily's grades remained at the top. When college applications came, another scholarship arrived, this time to medical school. Medical school was the hardest thing Emily had ever done. Brutal hours, overwhelming material, constant pressure. There were moments of doubt, when the weight of everyone's hopes felt too heavy. But she thought of Mrs. Carter, who saw something in a determined girl. She thought of Sophia, who believed in her. She thought of Grace, who gave up her own dreams. She thought of her parents, whose pride never wavered. And she kept going. Years passed. Emily graduated at the top of her class. She completed her residency, specializing in community medicine. And then, with her degree in hand, she did what she had always known she would do. She returned to Oakridge. The town had changed little. The same quiet roads, the same modest homes, the same old wells. But something new was there now, a small clinic built with donations and staffed by Emily and a small team. On opening day, the line of patients stretched for hours. Emily worked from dawn until dusk, treating fevers and infections, counseling mothers, and holding the hands of the elderly. She asked nothing from those who could not pay. At the end of that long first day, Emily stood outside the clinic as the sun set over Oakridge. Her parents were there, faces lined with age and pride. Grace was there, holding her hand. Mrs. Carter stood nearby, tears streaming down her face. Sophia had traveled from the city to be present. Emily looked at them, these people who had believed in her when she had nothing but a dream. She thought of the girl walking miles to school, the late nights studying by lamplight, the scholarships won through sheer determination, the sacrifices made by so many. And she knew, with a certainty deep in her heart, that the dream had never been hers alone. It had belonged to all of them. She was simply the one who had carried it across the finish line.